but he feels he must defer to the special interests that support him. That's not change we can believe in. Lowering trade barriers to American goods and services creates more and better jobs, keeps inflation under control, keeps interest rates low, and makes more goods affordable to more Americans. We won't compete successfully by using old technology to produce old goods. We'll succeed by knowing what to produce and inventing new technologies to produce it. We're not people who believe only in the survival of the fittest. Work in America is more than a paycheck. It's a source of pride, self-reliance, and identity. But making empty promises to bring back lost jobs gives nothing to the unemployed worker except false hope. That's not change we can believe in. Reforming from top to bottom unemployment insurance and retraining programs that were designed for the 1950s, making use of our community colleges to train people for new opportunities, will help workers who've lost a job that won't come back find a job that won't go away. My friends, we're not a country that would rather go backward than forward. We're the world's leader, and leaders don't hide from history, they make history. But if we're going to lead, we have to reform a government that's lost its ability to help us do so. The solution to our problems isn't to reach back to the 1960s and 70s for answers. In just a few years in office, Senator Obama has accumulated the most liberal voting record in the United States Senate. But the old, tired big government policies he seeks to dust off and call new won't work in a world that has changed dramatically since they were last tried and failed. That's not change we can believe in. The sweeping reforms of government we need won't occur unless we change the political habits of Washington that have locked us in an endless cycle of bickering and stalemate. Washington is consumed by a hyper-partisanship that treats every serious issue as an opportunity to trade insults, impugn each other's motives, and fight about the next election. This is the game Washington plays. Both parties play it, as do the special interests that support each side. The American people know that it's not on the level. For all the problems we face, what frustrates them most about Washington is they don't think we're capable of serving the public interest before our personal ambitions, that we fight for ourselves and not for them. They're sick of the politics of selfishness, stalemate, and delay, and they have every right to be. We have to change not only government policies that have failed them, but the political culture that produced them. Both Senator Obama and I promise we will end Washington's stagnant, unproductive partisanship. But one of us has a record of working to do that, and one of us doesn't. Americans have seen me put aside partisan and personal interests to move this country forward. They haven't seen Senator Obama do the same. For all his fine words and all his promise, he has never taken the hard but right course of risking his own interests for yours, of standing up against the partisan rancor on his side to stand up for our country. He's an impressive man who makes a great first impression, but he hasn't been willing to make the tough calls, to challenge his party, to risk criticism from his supporters, to bring real change to Washington, I have. When members of my party refuse to compromise, not on principle but for partisanship, I've sought to do so. When I fought corruption, it didn't matter to me if the culprits were Democrats or Republicans. I exposed it and let the chips fall where they may. When I worked on campaign finance and ethics reform, I did so with Democrats and Republicans, even though we were criticized by other members of our parties who preferred to keep things as they were. I have never refused to work with Democrats simply for the sake of partisanship. I've always known we belong to different parties, but not different countries. We are Americans before we are anything else. I don't seek the presidency on the presumption I'm blessed with such personal greatness that history has anointed me to save my country in its hour of need. I seek the office with the humility of a man who cannot forget. My country saved me. I'll reach out my hand to anyone, Republican or Democrat, who will help me change what needs to be changed, fix what needs to be fixed, and give this country a government as capable and good as the people that it's supposed to serve. There's a time to campaign and a time to govern. If I'm elected president, the era of the permanent campaign of the last 16 years will end. The era of reform and problem solving will begin from my first day in office. From my first day in office, I'll work with anyone to make America safe, prosperous, and proud. And I won't care who gets the credit as long as America gets the benefit. You and I have seen Republicans and Democrats achieve great things together. When the stakes are high and it mattered most, I've seen them work together in common purpose, as we did in the weeks after September 11th. That kind of cooperation has made all the difference at crucial turns in our history. It's given us hope in difficult times. It has moved America forward, and that, my friends, is the kind of change we need right now. Thank you very much, and thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.